Hi, welcome to the video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy, and comment your thoughts and opinions on the stories. Let's get started. Am I the antagonist for asking my BF why he's so protective of his phone password? So my BF and I were laying in bed just being cute and talking. At one point he wanted to show me something on his phone, and so I got closer to try to see his screen. He moved his screen away and was like, "Don't try to see my password, babe." I then asked him why he was so protective of his password. I was genuinely just asking, but I felt like he doesn't trust me, and I don't even think he has anything to hide because he regularly shows me things on his phone, so if he was hiding things it'd be too risky to receive a text from someone. So I trust him. Well, when I asked he got really defensive. He said he's not protective and he doesn't know why he cares so much. I asked if he was like this with his last girlfriend, and he said no, she knew his phone password. So I asked why he was like this with me. He got more upset and got up and left. I was speaking in a calm tone the whole time and tried not to sound like I was interrogating him. For context, I've given him my phone pass before, but has just forgotten it both times. I also don't mistrust him and have no intentions of reading through his messages. Been dating 2 years. Living together for almost 1. I'm 26, he's 29. So am I the antagonist for even asking and maybe pushing for a response a little? Or is what I did totally a normal thing? She had the password to his phone, so I questioned why he treated me this way. If it were me, I'd wait until everyone was settled and eaten before asking him, "Hey, what happened for you the other night?" Because that was a completely innocent and inquisitive query for me. Comment by team member Parker. Now for the top comments. What is strange here isn't whether or not you can share a password. It's why it can't be a topic to calmly discuss, even if you agree to disagree. What's there to discuss though? Passcode/words are intended to be private. If someone wants to share it, that's their choice. But when someone says no, that's a perfectly reasonable boundary. I agree with that. Info: did he have a bad experience with his ex using his phone because he gave her the password? Also, I will say there's nothing wrong with privacy. If someone isn't comfortable with you having the ability to open and look through their device whenever you want, that doesn't make them sus or an R. Regardless of how open they were in the past with others. If you force him to give you his password, then you'd be a major R. But otherwise it does come off as a bit of an interrogation, even if you didn't have a tone. Am I the antagonist for making my dad retract his support towards my stepsister university tuition? I don't get along with my dad's GF and her children. Her oldest and I had lots of friction in the past regarding personal belongings, food, space, almost everything you can think of. My stepbro is the sweetest and the main reason I still visit them, and the youngest is a demon. My dad's GF doesn't get along with my mum because of the past conflicts I had with her oldest, and my dad is pretty neutral. Here's the thing. I was visiting my dad and everything was fine until I woke up in the middle of the night and went to the kitchen for water. I never turn on the lights because they scare away my sleep. While I was in the kitchen, I heard the door opening and froze. A stranger entered the house and I couldn't scream or even move until I could no longer hear that person's footsteps. From there on, I remember very little. Dad told me I was sobbing and shivering when I went to his room. I just remember telling him there was a thief in the house. Considering the security system, Dad was worried and called the police. I just remember sitting on the bed when the police came in and my bro telling me everything was fine. Fast forward a day, I woke up in the hospital because the paramedics drugged me. Apparently, I have PTSD from when I was a toddler and robbers got in my grandparents' house. My mum was furious because dad never mentioned this to her, and guess the best part? It wasn't a robber, but my stepsister's BF who, apparently, had the keys and frequently visited for some nighttime fun. Dad is also furious because mum will most likely decide to move away after this, and I will obviously go with her. So, in order to avoid that, Dad told his GF her daughter has to go to her father and is no longer welcomed in the house, and he will no longer help her with her tuition because she put the family at risk for giving the house passcodes and keys to a stranger. Here's the thing. We never had a good relationship, so I feel guilty If I hadn't overreacted, then none of this would be happening. I also know my stepsister's father is an insanely conservative Christian and will give her hell for having sex before marriage and all that BS. Also, the BF is in jail for trespassing, and my bro told me dad refuses to drop the charges. So I also feel guilty because of that. Mum told me not to worry, but how can I not worry when I may just have ruined two persons' lives? Their lives were ruined by themselves, not by you. Everything you done was entirely unintentional and brought on by what they did. If anything, you helped your dad out by making him aware of a security risk. What if her boyfriend utilized his access to the family to hurt them or their property? Comment by team member Parker. Now for the top comments. NTA. 1. You did not overreact. You didn't choose to have a severe PTSD event. This was beyond your control. 2. Your stepsister was sneaking her BF into the house and giving him passcodes or keys to the house. That's nothing to do with you. If your dad feels like she violated house rules this badly, then it's between her and him. 3. Your dad has your back, and I have to wonder if there were other things going on to cause him to take such a harsh line. I mean, besides his very appropriate concern for your well-being. 4. If you stepsister and her BF have their lives ruined, it's on them, not you. Take care of yourself. I couldn't even remember what happened when I was younger, but guess that explains why I always choose the room further away from the entrance and always lock my door at night. I was just talking with my bro, and he told me the BF has some criminal records regarding assault, and that's why my dad chose not to drop the charges and have my stepsister out of the house. He agreed not to tell anything to her father, so they will send her there for university. That's the official reason. I think I can feel at ease after learning that. I just have many sessions with the therapist to avoid another episode. Thank you so much for taking time to comfort this stranger. NTA, you had trauma. Not your fault. Your dad is backpedaling hard right now. Your stepsister is at fault for the situation. Sometimes things fall where they may, and we have no control over others' actions and decisions. NTA, you never told your dad he had to withdraw his support from stepsister. Her actions by giving a key and security codes to her BF was a risk to the entire family. Actions have consequences and stepsister is now facing them. I'm on the fence with your dad not dropping the charges against the BF for trespassing, since he was given a key, but that's your dad's decision for his family's safety. Don't feel any guilt up, you did absolutely nothing wrong and previous friction between you two has nothing to do with this. Am I the antagonist for telling my boyfriend I don't like the engagement ring he chose? My boyfriend and I have been dating for almost 3 years. We have talked about getting engaged. We browsed pictures of rings we may or may not like. We both agree that moissanite would be best. I don't want anything too expensive. He found a ring he really likes and has his heart set on buying it someday. Saved the website and is saving up. I've shown him what I like. It's been over a year since we originally discussed it. Mostly I don't like the style and the fact it can't be resized. I've told him I'm not a big fan of that ring a few times, and every now and then I send him a link of the one I really like. It's also cheaper. He just says yuck. It's not unique. There's too many little stones. He doesn't like my choice either. I try to point out that he should pick something that I like, and he shrugs it off. Says there's nothing wrong with the one he chose. I'm wondering if I should be happy with whatever he chooses. I could grow to like the one he picked. Is the ring I get really a big deal? Am I the antagonist? Your viewpoint won't matter because he will always have the final say in everything for the rest of your life. Your address, place of employment, attire, whether you have children, how many, their names, and schools they attend, among other things. Comment by team member Jordan. Now for the top comments. Way back in the day, my boyfriend and I were looking at engagement rings and I saw the one I wanted above all others. It was in the price range and the only thing uncertain about it was on a weird new site called Etsy. But I had ordered a few things from different people on there, so we figured it would be somewhat safe. My boyfriend ordered it and proposed with it in his own time. I had come to the realization that if he didn't get the ring I liked, I wouldn't say yes, not because of the ring, but because that would mean he had heard my opinion and then completely disregarded it. What else would he do that with? A house? Kids? a job. A lot of the engagement is to have a test run of what your life will be like together. We were engaged for over a year, which I think was good looking back. We had a lot of stress come up with planning the wedding, and he showed time and again how he would prioritize me over fear of losing a deposit or societal expectations. If your boyfriend won't listen to you, understand that this will be how he is for life. Not the a-hole. He doesn't hear you, or he bulldozes over what he does hear. It doesn't bode well for future decisions. NTA. There's nothing wrong with wanting to a ring you want, especially as you'll be staring at it for the rest of your life. To this day my mother, who's been married for 40 plus years, still says she wished she made an effort to get a purple ring as it's her favorite color. However, you should see this argument not so much about the ring, but how he views you and your opinions. You both should get what you want. Also, can you link the rings? Am I the antagonist for dumping dirty dishes on my 20-year-old daughter's bed? I have a constant battle with my daughter finishing up chores, especially with cleaning the dishes. When she was younger, I made a lot of effort to teach her how to do chores, but my wife, now ex-wife, always undermined me, so because of this, chores has always been a struggle. When I started remote work, I set up my office near the kitchen because it's the only part of the house that can accommodate the space I need. Before going to bed, I always make sure dishes are put away and cleaned. I seldom eat dinner with my daughter because she works part-time in the evening. Sometimes she prepares her own dinner when she gets home or eat at work. I would constantly tell her to clean up after herself, yet it's almost every day that I wake up to seeing dirty dishes on the sink. When she is not working, she does the same thing. She makes a mess of the kitchen, dumps all of the dirty dishes, and never comes back to put them away. Whenever we do eat dinner together, I always tell her that we need to take turns cleaning the kitchen. After dinner, she drops her plate in the sink and storms off. Her boyfriend comes to visit sometimes, and they do the same thing. Use the kitchen, dump the dishes, take off, come back to use the kitchen again, and pile more dirty dishes on the sink and take off. I always remind her and tell her why she needs to take care of the dishes. Sometimes it's okay to leave the dishes in there for a bit because she is tired. She just needs to do it eventually. She expects me to do it for her. I want her to be responsible. I'm so tired of the nagging that sometimes I just take care of it because the pile is just disgusting to look at, especially when I'm working. Yesterday, she and her BF were using the kitchen again after I cleaned it, dumped all of the dirty dishes and stormed off. I texted her about making sure the kitchen needs to be cleaned and dishes were put away when she comes back. Time passed. I finished work, dinner with a friend at a restaurant, and came back seeing the dishes in the sink. I told my daughter, who was home, to take care of it again before she went to bed. When I woke up the next morning to get ready for work, I saw the same dirty dishes from the day before, only to be piled up with more dirty dishes. I found a plastic bin and stacked all of the dirty dishes inside, took it down to her room, and placed them on her bed. She went ballistic. I said I can't stand seeing the dirty dishes from yesterday while I'm working, and I'm tired of nagging at her to clean whenever she messes up the kitchen. She called me controlling, OCD, and if I can't stand the dishes, I need to look for another spot in the house to work. She also told her mom, and now my ex-wife is calling me out for leaving dirty dishes in her room. I told her it was to teach her a lesson. She called me a bad parent. Some friends thought I did the right thing and some friends don't. So am I the antagonist here? Edit. She also goes to school part-time. Definitely the right thing to do. You made her filthy dishes, which she was making your problem. Her problem once more. Tell her she has 30 days to find a new place to live, or realize that cleaning up after herself is a part of being in your home. Comment by team member Corey. Now for the top comments. NTA. Tell her and her mum that as neither of them have a problem with it, she can move in, mum, and then you can turn her room into a dedicated office. Win-win. Carrot this, she's 20 not 12, and if boyfriend can't clean after himself, he's not welcome into the house. Ever. Edit. Even a 12-year can do the dishes, BTW. NTA. She's 20 and not a child. You've approached her politely, and she's still not listening. This may be what she needs to get her act together. Sincerely, A 22F. I hope things get better. I really hope so. I want her to succeed and not rely on anybody. Am I the antagonist for telling my mother-in-law she can't just throw in on my husband's birthday gift? My husband is notoriously difficult to buy for. When you think you've got him something he won't guess and will like. He'll either guess it or not like it. I'll be honest, he can be a little ungrateful at times. But, I digress. Every year for his birthday and Christmas has asked what he wants, and he usually has no ideas to offer. So, it's become commonplace for my mother-in-law to ask me for ideas. I often have ideas for her. When we discuss it, she'll ask what I'm getting him, and always wants to get him that gift. Or throw in towards it, and say it's a joint gift. I really enjoy gift giving, and love watching someone light up. I've lost so many of those moments for myself, because they're joint gifts. I know that's a little selfish, but I put a lot of thought into what I gift people, especially him. I've had a really tough 18-ish months, because of my mental health, and he was an absolute lifesaver. I won't go into details, but he kept everything together, while supporting and loving me. Has wanted a new iPad for over a year, but doesn't want to spend the money on himself. I decided to go a little overboard for his birthday this year, and get him the iPad he wants. When discussing ideas with my mother-in-law she asked what I was getting him, and I told her. She then started saying that she'll just throw in on that. I hesitated and said I'm going to get him the iPad myself. Sorry. Then she gives me but that's a better gift than anything of the other ideas and it's easier to just make it a joint gift. I again say that I'm giving it to him by myself. A few days later she says again that she's going to transfer me money for the iPad. I said no, and was a little firmer this time. She kept pushing. Of course. My father-in-law called me earlier today to say he thinks I'm being dramatic and it's just an iPad. I should share the gift. I told him that I'm spending $1. $100 and $100 does not make it a joint gift. He told me that I'm really upsetting my mother-in-law and all because $100 isn't 50% of the gift. I tried explaining to him that it's not just the money. I want it to just be from me to him, and I don't want to give a joint gift. He ended up telling me that I'm being a selfish BTCH over an iPad. Am I the antagonist? Should I just let them throw in the $100 and say it's a joint gift? Give her $100. Get him a blanket, a tie, and a mug, and put your slack mother-in-law's name on them. Do not comply with their requests at this time, because doing so would indicate that you are willing to bend to their will. Setting firm boundaries now is a smart idea. Comment by team member Parker. Now for the top comments. NTA, stop telling them what you're getting him. Or tell her a different gift, so she gets him that, and you get him what you really wanted all along lol. I think that wouldn't work, because it seems like mother-in-law's not interested in actually buying the right gift. She's more interested on putting her name on whatever op buys. When we discuss it, she'll ask what I'm getting him, and always wants to get him that gift. Or throw in towards it, and say it's a joint gift. I was thinking more of the first part of that sentence. But yeah, she should just say not sure, yet whenever mother-in-law asks. NTA. Gift giving is so much more than the money, and your mother-in-law is trying to latch onto your work of figuring out what he wants and actually buying it. Stand your ground. Make sure the card says back quote from op and nothing else. And next time, don't tell her what you're getting, say you're not sure yet. He called you a B. Don't help them ever again. Do you have an idea for them? No, sorry. What are you getting him? Don't know. Still thinking about it. You don't owe it to them to help them all the time, especially if they are being so rude and ungrateful. Not the a-hole. Came here to say this. Also, you can mention that joint gift giving has been forever ruined for you by Phil calling you a BTSCH over it. NTA, I saw the comment that you wrote saying she hates giving gift cards. I would buy him the iPad from you and buy a $100 Apple gift card from her and wrap them separately with your name on the iPad and hers on the gift card. Hubby happy with shiny new iPad and pocket money. You happy. Mother-in-law put in her dramatic place, but still contributing to the gift. Please. Never tell her what you're buying again. Always. I haven't made my mind up yet answers. Am I the antagonist for telling my mother she's stupid to bring a baby into the family? My 17F mother, 44F, recently met a new man after the death of my father last year, and in her own words it was love at first sight. He moved in quickly after spending a week with us and deciding he wanted to stay. After the death of my father, my mother couldn't afford to pay rent on the house, and so we had to move to a smaller place. Now it's me, my brother, 9 male, my mother and her boyfriend. We barely scrape by and are stuck in a one-room place where me and my brother are sleeping on a couch together. My mother has been feeling sick these past few weeks and has been displaying early symptoms of pregnancy. She sat me down a few days ago and asked how I felt and said that she isn't sure, but she's pretty sure she is pregnant. I was honest and said I thought it was stupid to bring a baby into this situation. She has since been distant and won't speak to me. I fully believe I was right to say that. I mean, we barely have food at the end of the month and my mother is regularly borrowing money from friends, family, etc. We simply don't have the money to support a new baby, nor do we have the space. Her partner is also fully on board with having a baby despite the shitty situation, as are my siblings who moved out years ago. The only person who is against it is me, and I need to know, am I the antagonist? It's time to calculate your 18th birthday based on her due date. It's time to research local emancipation and runaway laws. If you won't be 18 before the kid is born, ask any friends who might be willing to let you stay with them while you get your bearings. Comment by team member Charlie. Now for the top comments. NTA. You better be making plans to move out as soon as you turn 18, or you are gonna be raising that baby. You will be a live-in babysitter that doesn't get paid. You know that they probably discussed amongst themselves how lucky they are that you'll be living at home and can help them. You need to remove yourself from the equation. I wish I could, but due to issues with my mental health I can't work right now, and so I can't afford to move out. Working and moving out will probably be better for your mental health than taking care of her baby. NTA. 1. Economically you're spot on. 2. She's 44 years old. This could be a very dangerous pregnancy. 3. She hasn't even known this new boyfriend very long. And if she's already having to borrow money from other people, it's a sign he cannot financially support her child. 4. Having 3 kids in a home with no bedroom for them could be an issue for CPS. She's putting the family at risk. 5. Having a baby is extremely expensive. Like just the doctor appointments, and giving birth alone can cost thousands even with insurance. How will she pay for this? Also, I'm very sorry for your loss. I'm sure her moving this new guy in also doesn't sit well with you or your brother. I hope she comes to her senses and starts prioritizing you and your brother.